Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I want to introduce myself. My name is Khairunisa. I'm from Islamic education major, and now I will explain about stunting in Islamic education. Stunting or failure of religious education currently demands serious attention by all parties, including the government, employers, legislators, communities, and families. This is quite reasonable because currently the morals of the nation's children are at a very concerning point. The rise of brawls between students, the increase in drug abuse, the spread of free sex among students we always hear and see every day through various media. Juvenile delinquency continues to increase from year to year. This requires serious and immediate handling from all parties, starting from the family, school, community and government. Serious handling in the implementation of religious education in school includes aspects of the curriculum related to method and approaching in learning. And number two is aspect of teacher exemplary. In relation to the method, lectures are still the only method that is widely used by teachers in learning religion, so that learning becomes boring. Similarly, with regard to the approach in the process of learning religion, it still emphasizes more on the cognitive aspect, not to the effort to make the cognitive knowledge become meaning and value. The lack of exemplary behavior from teachers, especially parents and the community, contributes to the failure of religious education in schools. The next are failure factors in Islamic education. Number one is irrelevant curriculum. A curriculum that does not match the needs and realities of the student can be a factor of failure. From example, in some Islamic education curriculum, the focus may be too theoretical and inadequate in teaching the practical application of Islamic teaching in daily life. This may result in students not understanding the importance of the teachings in the context of their lives. Number two is poor teaching quality. When teachers do not have an adequate understanding of Islamic teachings or lack the skill to deliver the material well, this can hinder student understanding. For example, a teacher who lacks understanding of complex Islamic teaching such as Aqidah or Fiqh may not be able to explain them clearly to students. Number three is imbalance between religious and general education. When religious education is seen as an add-on or less important than general education, students may not gain adequate knowledge about Islam. For example, in some education system, the time allocated for religious studies may be very little compared to other subjects such as math or science. Number four, lack of facilities and infrastructure. Lack of adequate physical facilities and resources can be a barrier to Islamic education. For example, if a school does not have an adequate library or limited access to Islamic learning materials, students may find it difficult to properly explore the teaching of the religion. And number five, lack of family support. When families do not provide enough support for Islamic education, students may lose motivation to learn. From example, if parents do not set a good example in religious practice or do not teach their children Islamic values, the children may not prioritize religious education. And the next is social and political context. External factors such as political or social conflict, religious intolerance, or discrimination against certain religious groups can also affect Islamic education. For example, in a politically or socially unstable environment, so school and religious institution may find it difficult to operate properly, which may interfere with students' Islamic education. The next is challenge of Islamic education. The number one is values crisis. Islamic education faces a value crisis where the reinforcement of behavior with extensive knowledge is essential for providing appropriate and useful answer to the challenge of the development of science and technology. Islamic strategies and tactics must be more effective and efficient, encompassing pedagogical, sociological, and cultural aspects. Number two, concept crisis regarding the view of the meaning of a good life. There is a crisis regarding the concept of the meaning of a good life in Islamic education. The purpose of Islamic education, according to the flow of idealism, is to deliver learn how to reach happiness in the world and the hereafter. This crisis involves the need to ensure that the purpose of studying knowledge is solely for science itself as a form of worship to God. And the main purpose of Islamic education is the establishment of akhlakul karimah. Number three, the credibility gap crisis. Islamic education faces a credibility gap crisis, which includes issues relating to the governance of Islamic religious education and the difficulty of achieving quality education due to problems and challenges, such as the difficulty of achieving quality education due to issues of teaching and development. Number four is crisis of idealism. There is a crisis of idealism in Islamic education, which emphasizes the need for an actual Islamic education paradigm, effective education, and improving the quality of teaching staff to address future challenges. In facing this challenge, Islamic education strategies include building an actual education paradigm. The next is problem solution from challenge of Islamic education. Number one is education reform. Islamic education faces several challenges in the 21st century, including low quality of human resources, lack of interest in learning Islamic education, weak management, and the need for curriculum reform. Strengthening of human resources and the Islamization of science by embodying Islamic values in education. Additionally, there is a need for greater attention to the reality of living in the world as a foundation for compiling the Islamic education curriculum and a fight against the pro-status quo. The reform of Islamic education encompasses modern orientation in Europe, refinement of Islamic teachings, and nationalism reform guided by the Quran and Sunnah, and direct toward the progress of science and technology based on faith and devotion or imtak, the critical and reflective Islamic reform advocated by Muslim modernists during the late 19th or early 20th century was largely framed in the context of admiration for the reform of Islamic education. The curriculum for Islamic education should include characteristics such as implanting faith, morality, enriching Islamic scholarship, strengthening Arabic, and equipping students with skill education. The current context present both opportunities and challenge for Islamic religious education, and it is important to address the epistemological foundation of Islamic education and its characteristics. The number two is return to Islamic education with character. The implementation of Islamic religious education learning and character in the new normal era face obstacles such limited access to online learning, research, and difficulty in providing practical learning materials. There is also a need to rethink the overall Islamic education culture and the role it plays within the way societies perceive and manage rapid socio-cultural change. The importance of education is repeatedly emphasized in the Quran, and there is significant position for knowledge within Islam. And the last is conclusion. Islamic education through its they views the educational curriculum as a tool to educate the young generation well and help them to open and develop their various willingness, talent, strengths, and skills and prepare them well to carry out their function and live on the face of the earth. Maybe that's for me. Thank you for the attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.